everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Overcrank. Hanging out with my buddy Colton, and we've got stuff to talk about. Colton, how you doing today?
As we always do, man. We are never at a lack of things to talk about.
Right.
We may be at a lack of viewers, but at least the two of us will continue to talk no matter what.
This is my favorite thing to do. My favorite show right here, right? It's happening right now.
Yes, right now. We've got two tuned in.
Exactly. And that will be the extent of it right now.
I won't fall asleep. I'll try my best not to fall asleep. So at least you have a concurrence of two for sure. Guaranteed.
Perfect. And you're going to watch 100% of the video, which is great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Unless I blip out for a second, but I'll try and be here as much as possible. I
appreciate you for that. So we have things to talk about. And one in particular I want to talk about, which I think was an interesting release, or is it, I don't know if it's released or if it's teased to be released, but it's this new Hoverair drone.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting concept. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to share the screen.
Yeah.
But I feel like, it's rife with potential problems. Because now what it is it's sort of like the foldable drone.
Yeah.
That Insta's kind of putting out. And there's another company that makes one like this, but they've incorporated basically a pocket cam. So get ready, DJI, get your lawsuits ready, because it's exactly like a Pocket 3.
Right.
Seems cool because you only have to carry around one device. Seems terrible if you crash it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, wait, they got that like cine. I mean, I know anybody that's an FPV pilot, I'm sorry that I'm going to like just butcher all of this stuff, but it's like a cine whoop design with the cage around it. I saw somebody on Reddit, and you can't unsee it once you read a comment like this, but this is just like narcissism in a single device, because now you can, and I'm like, now you have a drone that can follow you around wherever you want to go, and it'll film you doing your stuff. And it's for sure a content creator's dream, because imagine the cinema that you're going to make with a pocket gimbal. And also, it looks like they've got more details out than I was able to pull. It's still super generic. I do think this is a narcissism's dream, or a narcissist's dream, because it's just for solo operators, but it's an interesting concept. It's not new. No. When I saw this come out, I was like, anybody remember the GoPro Karma drone? Because it was literally this with one extra piece, right? They had a gimbal that you shoved into the Karma drone, and then it had the drone, and then it had the GoPro that locked into the gimbal piece. So shout out to kind of GoPro for coming up with this really early and really terribly. They never really executed anything that worked. Yeah. This one looks better. It's really light. It's cool.
Yeah.
There was one bit on there, and maybe you can find it when you're scrolling. They were like, said something about, and I was so excited after all this, the DJI 4P stuff. They were like, this has industry leading dynamic range. No number, no reason why.
Well, it's industry leading, Colton. Come on now.
It is, yeah. Don't ask too many questions, Todd. Just buy our thing.
They're loaded with lots of really great imagery of it flying, which is probably, it's how good is it going to be? Because, look, we all know DJI kills on the pocket cam. Luna's in a close second. But, these guys I've never heard of. I'm curious what tech they're using, unless they borrowed something. But there are some interesting specs on it, and I will say, yes, narcissist dream, but also if you're someone like you and me, what a cool way to get BTS, though.
Yeah,
like so, and sometimes as a content creator, having that roaming camera kind of following you is such a cool feature. Level 5 wind resistance. I don't know how they're pulling this. There's a lot of claims on here that seem very high.
Yeah.
For what this product is.
So the only other, question mark for us is going to be in the US is that, so Drone XL, I think this was yesterday, put out a pretty good article about this camera. Okay. 00 is the parent company. They've been around since 2014, but they did not get drone clearance as of for the new FCC ruling. So they're one of those foreign-made drone companies that are not allowed to sell in the US as of right now. So Drone XL is kind of mentioning, hey, they've been very, very clear in their silence that they're not confirming that this is coming to a United States near you or I. So that's the only other question.
We're talking about this hover drone, the Hoverair.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I can buy it right now, apparently.
Interesting.
And the pricing's not terrible.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, $699 for the 8K.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so the Drone XL, I'd be interested to see where that link takes you to, but yeah, the Drone XL wrote this on the 4th, so that was yesterday. All
right, everybody, don't freak out because I'm totally not buying it, but let's see what happens when I click on this.
Buying this live. Let's go.
Whoa, the price just went up.
Yeah.
It just went to $1,300. What's happening? Stop.
Yeah, it just took your credit card. Your credit card's gone.
Yeah. Well, honey, we're not going to eat this week.
Yeah. Well, but we can film ourselves going hungry. Yeah. From an aerial.
Right.
From an
My
aerial
wife will be thrilled.
perspective, honey.
Okay. So here we go. So you can just buy the camera. What is the $1,319 is what I'm trying to figure out. Oh, the all-in-one bundle. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you go. All right. So, I mean, okay, what happens now? Look, I could get a plan. I'm going to skip that.
Interesting, too. They don't have a lot of specs out, but they'll let you buy it. This is kind of the GoPro model of like, no, it's going to be good. Trust us.
Wow, it's letting me move through. I got to stop now or I'm going to have this thing purchased.
Yeah, it'll be shipping to your... Well, what are they saying? They're saying that it's delivering.
To Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on the 12th, so it's not even like a couple of months away. That's cool.
Yeah. That part's cool.
Yeah, it's more than Drone XL was covering. So we've broken some news here, Todd.
Right here. I loved some of the things they thought about, like what they did with this too. It's very much like it reminds me of all the crazy stuff that Insta did, with when they released their. I don't know why this is not scrolling. It seems like it should. Because I believe you can use this controller singular or you snap it together and it becomes a full cam controller because this is a screen here. So there's a shot where the guy he's just wearing that on his wrist, as right here. Wow. This, welcome to Safari, everybody. I should probably have opened this in the Google window. I sound like an old person now. In a Google window, I said. I did.
Yeah.
See this right here? So I don't know if he's just monitoring it or he can control it from there, but the remote, they've really thought about a lot of things you could do with it outside of just a singular remote. It's this modular remote, which I think is a very interesting concept.
Now, Todd, here's a weird thing. I'm literally on the Hoverair website and all I have options for are subscribe to stay updated, give us your email. More details are coming soon. So are you like on some other countries?
Try refreshing your page.
No, I just loaded it. There's no information. I'm looking at it totally. So everybody who's watching this needs to go in and check and see what you're getting because I've literally got.
No, that is strange.
Yeah. I cannot buy it. So
it sees me
buy it right now.
No, I'm not gonna. It sees me in Ohio.
Oh, you should do it.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
There's just too many question marks. I like my pocket cameras. I know that they're like, oh, you only have to carry the one thing. Do you?
Okay.
I just saw that bundle for $1,300.
I think I solved the mystery.
Okay.
Are you looking at the X1 Pro, which is not the Versa that's new coming out? That might be why. Because I don't think the X1 Pro, although it is a gimbal camera, it's not a detachable.
Oh.
That's why. We solved the mystery. So
all right.
You can buy the X1 Pro, but that is not the detachable weird gimbal
That's not the
thing.
detachable one.
You're looking for the Versa, which is that's where we are.
Well, everybody,
learn more.
Took us down a rabbit hole. Well, this is what happens when you surf the internet while live streaming.
Sure.
Oh, see the same. Okay, so they have the same kind of configuration going on. So they're using their tech and putting it into the pocket camera.
You're back in on the X1.
Because
the Versa is a white. You need to back out of their store completely.
Isn't this it? Because this is it. Oh, let me go learn more.
Nope.
Maybe that's what's going on.
That's the X1 Air.
Here we go. Okay. Maybe work on the site design, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye now. See what happens.
You're still on the X1 though.
Hoverair X.
You got to.
No. Oh, okay. I am definitely turning into an old person now.
That's
Hoverair.
Okay. I think so.
Well, anyway.
Yes, here, Todd, is you're on the. I like it. We can solve this together. We're doing UX web design together here on the show today.
Yeah.
But you're on. I think what I'm noticing is when you get into their store, the Versa isn't even an option. So you need to go at the top. You go back to home. That's the Hoverair Versa. That's what's not. And that's where if you click that, let's see that one there. Now you can learn more. See, that's what I'm seeing.
Learn more. Stay updated. Got it.
And
here we go.
Here's
the device.
When you were pulling up all this, here's what I'm talking about. Look, superior dynamic range. But read that little paragraph. There's nothing to the superior dynamic range with any kind of information.
Is this clickable
superior. No, I don't think so. But up at the up a little bit higher, there's a paragraph about it. See right there. That's what I was reading earlier, and it's like tells you it's industry leading, but it doesn't give you any knowledge of like what it is. So
well, then they won't have jerks like you and me picking apart these dynamic range possibilities.
Right. Well, hey man, I gave DJI the credit they were due with that Lo-Fi chip is really some impressive stuff. What Cine D was able to test with that. It's crazy. Like it does make me disappointed that we can't get. I'm assuming that's going to be exactly what the Extra Muse Pro was going to be or will be eventually.
Yeah.
And man, it's a cool chip. If you are cool using it as a one single lens, and I'm seeing on this Versa, you've only got a single lens.
Right.
So they're keeping it very simple, but it's a cool design.
I saw somebody also bring up a point, which I think is the one challenge of it too, is that that's a lot of demand on that battery to do the 8K if possible, doing 8K, doing the tracking, and then also flying it for any appreciable amount of time. Like my Neo, it's got a nice little battery chunk. It's probably half that handle. Like that's just for the Neo, and it flies for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
17 minutes on a great day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is this would fall in the toy category as well. Like you're not going to get much flight time. And then as someone pointed out, that's done. And now I've lost my camera's not going to run now.
Yep.
So it sounds really cool, but I feel like it's very limiting. I like having, like you have found, the Luna itself will run for hours, so I can run pretty much all day shooting. Oh, I want a drone shot, pull the Neo out, put it back to filming. It's not that cumbersome.
Right. No, I think, the trick would be on this one is just what you said is when you need a quick drone shot or a flyby shot, pop it on. Now you have it, but you're not, it's not going to be the same as a Mavic Pro or something where you're in the air for 20, 25 minutes. You're doing a little tracking shot. It's doing a little orbit around you, and then it's back on normal gimbal mode, or maybe you're charging it with, a USB-C charger while it's a toy. It's for narcissists, Todd. It's for people that just need everything filmed. You're a gym guy. Can you imagine somebody bringing this into the gym to track orbit around their squats? No.
They would. And that's why I love my gym. My gym has a no tripods rule. You can use magnets or whatever. And my wife has actually had to go tell people. My wife works at the gym too. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't have that tripod. And my favorite response so far, the lady said to her, well, the camera's not even on. And she's like, doesn't matter. It's still in the way of other people. And clearly you intend for it to be on at some point. Because why is it on a tripod in the middle of the gym? So no, drone would be next level irritating.
Well, I'm terrified now that your gym's going to have to update from no tripod to no tripod plus drone. Because technically, I'm going to come into your gym to go work out, and I'm going to go, you know what? No tripod. There's no propellers, tripod. And that's it. There's no tripod.
Yeah.
It's not even a quad pod. No pod. This is in the air.
It's in the air. Not in the way.
We've worked around your system now, Todd.
not in anybody's way. It's just going to be up there in the rafters, filming everybody without their consent. Right. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, interesting.
So
We'll follow it. I don't know. I think the FCC stuff has me worried that we're going to see a third of what we're supposed to, competitive products.
I didn't realize it was one of those companies in the wonderful list that you have been holding on to. So that will make that probably not be a thing that's going to ever happen anytime soon.
Well, now I feel better, but we can link, or you guys can just go search. Drone XL did that article that was on August 4th. So you can go pull that up. That will give you more information on what they've found in terms of, that's just what I was reading to see, what got FCC versus what didn't, because I am not the expert. I've just been following it because it's so interesting in the DJI world, but there are other companies that are on that covered list especially for drone. And I think that's where this one's going to get in trouble. What Drone XL pointed out, which would be funny, is if 00 got the go ahead, the green light to sell the handle, the gimbal, but not the drone. And so then, you in Ohio gets the stick on the ground.
Yeah.
But you can't buy the drone that goes with it. So that would be funny if that ends up happening. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes out.
I don't think that'll happen that way, only because the way DJI's is gone. That's why we can't get the 4P. It's the camera. There's no wings on it. So I feel like it's going to be all or nothing there.
And you might know more than I do, or somebody in the comments will definitely know more than I do. I know DJI is in trouble because they're DJI, but also the claim is the Chinese ownership. Yeah. I think there's a totally different provision about foreign made drones, not just FCC communication devices, drones specifically.
Okay.
I think that's where this one might get in trouble. Again, not an FCC type lawyer, don't know all of the ins and outs of it. But as I was skimming through, I knew we were going to talk about this when I was reading that Drone XL article about this camera. That's what they had pointed out. Was it specifically the drone? So you'd have to dig into that more. I don't know the intricacies of it, but I think that's where they're going to get hung up. But then why not Insta360's anti-gravity drone? That was fine and good. Maybe that got authority to sell before the new rules. Somebody educate us.
They might have actually responded to the FCC and filed paperwork.
That's a little thing too.
A little thing.
Why
like
do you
that.
really want to? Okay. But and I'm not, don't sue me. This is not the same. I'm just saying, if you've committed tax fraud for 10 years, when the IRS is like, hey, can we see your tax papers? Do you really want to answer them? So maybe there was not a whole lot of good news to answer the FCC with. And so keep your tongue bit instead of just hand them over paperwork that is not good. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But fair point. So
that's just all I've seen. It's amazing to me, though, the amount of people who were and still are, so willing to be like, bro, Extra is just DJI. I remember a couple of months ago, I had done a video.
I was saying it.
We all kind of knew it, and we kind of did it like a wink and a nod. And, it's a totally separate company. Right. Even the people that were like ambassadors for them were like, I don't know. We asked, but we didn't get a good answer.
Right.
All those people that were like calling me an idiot for even saying like, hey, what about this other company that looks a whole lot like them? Now is like, oh, they should totally have their own autonomy. And it's not fair that the FCC is going after them just because they went after DJI. I'm like, but you guys were all the same people that said this is totally the same company. It's just funny, man.
This is the nature of people's argument today. I saw a really wonderful, but I don't want to get into a whole political thing. I just saw a very interesting article where someone was trying to break down people need to just start talking together again, because the problem is no matter if those two people, if you and that other guy are in the room and the information presented, you'll both walk away with two different thoughts, even though factual information is put there. Well, it's this. Well, it's that. And it's like, no, guys, Colton's just saying, hey, this is just the facts. But depending on which side of the aisle you're on, one guy goes, well, see, that verifies my facts. And the other says, no, they're being vilified. There's no, it's like, but just look at the facts. I thought it was a very interesting article that I read, because that's the problem we're in today, is that nobody just wants to have a reasonable conversation about the information.
But to add to that as well, is I also just find it really interesting. I fall under negatively, like to my detriment. I'm in the camp that will happily complain about every company, every camera. I will be a happy curmudgeon on everything that comes out, because nothing's ever going to be perfect or fit everything. And it all comes from companies that don't know who I am and don't care who I am. I just think it's the campification. Like when you are fully invested into this camp, I saw it when we were talking about how funky the GoPro launch was. The GoPro fan club. I'm always impressed at the amount of loyalty you're willing to give to a company that doesn't know if you exist or not, doesn't care if you exist or not. That's always just funny to me, because I'll just complain about every company, because you can't make a perfect thing. And I think looking at something critically helps you not have buyer's remorse. If I know what all the problems are before I buy it, then I'm okay buying it. If I think it's perfect and everything's great and all I believe is the marketing hype, and then I get a thing and I'm disappointed in it, well, then what does that serve to anybody?
Well, it just falls into the camp of confirmation bias, right?
Yeah.
I believe this and I'm happy that I have this, and you don't tell me that it's not true. And so I only watch the videos that tell me how good the thing is, the decision that I have made, and that's something I'd like to think I avoid. Like, I am still very much a Sony fan. But prior to being a Sony fan, I was a Canon fan until I was disappointed in the way Canon treated its customers. Like, why won't you give us the tech that you have? Why are you holding that back and only giving it to people who spend $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 when your competitors are giving it away for $1,000? It seems dumb that you're going to lose this. And they did. Like, for a long time, Sony eroded that customer base, because we were all like, I want 4K. So it's you should be willing. And I did it even with the Luna. I was all in on the 4P. I don't think I'm getting the 4P. I didn't sit back and be like, I still am team DJI. It's like, well, I still want the camera. I want a camera that does it. So let me try this other camera. And it's been a real joy for me. I love this camera. It's fine. It has flaws, as we've talked about. And you hurt my heart a little bit, but I admit you presented me with the facts. The dynamic range isn't even the 14 stops. That's heartbreaking. But I'm willing to accept the scientific information that's been presented, and I have no way of refuting it. So it's 10 stops, which is still good.
Yeah. But it's also, I do think that's a trap. And we talked about it a little bit on our last show on Friday. I think Jake and I tried to talk about it before his internet glitched out last week for our podcast. There was a YouTube video that I genuinely loved watching. He's gotten a lot of traction on it, where he was basically just calling out the marketing of the FX5 as being just marketing, and it's overhyped and you don't need it. And I fully believe in that. I do feel like there's a lot of people, especially, companies have caught on that you can buy YouTube channels favor, and you can have people authentically talk about how great something is, not even lie about it, but sell you something that you don't even need, and you've proved it with your work on the Luna. You don't need 14 stops if you're happy. It's kind of like happy ignorance. It doesn't matter what Cine D put on a chart and told you the dynamic range was. If you're using it professionally and you're happy with the results you're getting, and your clients are happy with the results they're getting, and it's all going to the internet anyway to get recompressed down to a bit rate of like 6.
Right.
What does it matter? It's all just consumerism that, and this is not helping me get any brand sponsorships, but it was a great video that was just really honest about, like, let's anti or uninfluence the camera space, because we've said it both on your show and my shows, cameras are so darn good. They're all good. And so you don't have to be in A camp or B camp, or you have to do this to make a feature movie, or you have to have this camera to, no, you don't. You have to
No.
have, I think you've said it, like a good story beats good gear anytime.
Yeah.
And know how to execute with what you've got. And uninfluenced. You do not need the marketing team of GoPro or Canon or Insta360 or who, insert brand X telling you have to have the newest and best thing to make it. You don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're using it in a professional application where you're like, everything is a controlled environment. You're like, well, I know my parameters here. I will set the camera accordingly, put the right filter on, works flawlessly. I haven't had yet one customer go, did you change cameras? Like they don't even know what is happening. The end product, they're like, oh, it looks great. And they're thrilled with it. And I just did a couple for the radio station, and they were sort of, what do you call it? I shoot it. The idea is it's like a wedding video. So we have an event, but I just want it to look good and creamy and slow-mo and show the event. And people are like, man, that's beautiful. All shot on a Luna. And no one ever thought anything about it. And my life was easier. So everybody wins.
Your back hurt less because you're carrying around a lot less gear.
Way less gear. And so I love that about it. And you had another point in there that I was like, yeah, that's absolutely. We have, the cameras are just, you know what it is? We talked about that. The cameras are just so good that like, what are we doing now? Like, just practice working on crafting a story and not worry about the gear, because pretty much anyone you pick now, gotta be great. No problem.
I'm gonna throw out a prediction here for us and our crew. I don't know if I'm gonna be right on this one. I'm wrong more than I'm right. But here's my thought. If you're a solo creator or you're an entrepreneur that's running a video business in 2026, I think the skill to get, because all the cameras are really, really good. You can literally start a video business. Todd, you're proving it with a $700 Luna.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about cameras. I think it is going to be about automating smart and being able to effectively and personally communicate with those clients, those people that you're talking to that are needing your product. Because what I see that drives me absolutely nuts, and I know, I'm sorry, this is a tangent from what the gear we were going to talk about, but here's my Notre Dame's prediction of, for 2030 is get really good at talking to people, because I've seen so many hacks on how to get Claude to do all your work for you, or get AI to write all your emails for you, or write all your outreach for you. And then you don't have to do that. You can spend time doing what you want in the business. You won't have clients because they won't want to respond to that. That's my thought. That's my hope, is that the skill for the film school skill for the next 3 years is going to be get good at talking to people again, because that skill is going away, where the cameras have done their job getting better every year. That's my prediction, Todd. And I could be totally wrong on this, but I see so many of those automated, just zero soul emails that were clearly written by ChatGPT or Claude and not even checked before they went out. That, or God forbid you used ChatGPT to put together a flyer for your local business. Like, those things are just going to be very clear and evident that you have not put the effort or time in to get good at that skill. So that's my hope and or prediction for the next 3 years.
That's actually something that is never taught in film school. And unfortunately, I'm going to sound like an old fuddy-duddy. Those kids come out of school thinking that they are gods that poop gold and don't understand the most important skill is what you just said, customer service. And I think you and I should start a film school on customer service, like training. But seriously, like, that's what that TED Talk I just put out is proof of, that I kind of lost everything. And my only option was to reach back out to the relationships I had before and try to rekindle those relationships. And because I had a good reputation with that, it worked very well for me. But I'm not trying to say I'm special or I'm an anomaly, but that skill is valuable. And it translates to pretty much anything you want to do in any industry. If you take care of people and put them first, they will always come back to you and say, hey, do that thing again for me because I know you will do it. So valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both on a soapbox, but I couldn't agree more like that. And the other thing, especially for me, I'm very happy of the niche I'm kind of working in. It's not necessarily glamorous. I'm not doing a lot of creating right now, like, film school or what do you want, 40-hour film challenges or any of that. But what I do, I honestly believe AI can't take away from me, because Joe wants his story told. He doesn't want Claude's story to tell about Joe. Joe wants his story told, and the only way for him to tell his story is to talk to my camera. And so I think that's a valuable thing to think about when you're working in the film industry is what is the product that I make that can't be taken away by automation? And that is, to me, it's always people stories. No one wants fake stories. I don't connect to a fake story, but I connect to that guy who owns that pizza shop and he's still making his great grandfather's pizza recipe from Sicily. That's a story. And now I'm invested in that person. And so that's AI can't do that. I mean, they can.
Yeah.
Did you see the scam that was going on with the hat shops? It was all over the news. There was like 3 different ones where it was like, my name's Claude and I make hats. I've been making hats since 1952. The whole thing was AI generated, and these British looking hats were coming from China. And it was like, oh no. And there were like 3 different versions. There was like Dennis and Claude and George. They were all hat makers, but it was the same company making all that. So see, they were selling the authenticity, but I think real people really
that's what I get concerned with, is that the authenticity, and my prediction could go 180 degrees from what I hope is the tool that we need to connect to in 3 years, and everything can be so automated and so digital that, like, I don't know, then you're just AI trying to AI authenticity.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's wild.
Oh, good.
It's a wild spot. Yeah. Drives me nuts.
We're going to do a weird pivot now. Weird pivot time.
Pivot.
So, and you've already made a video on this, but one of our viewers, Scott, I think you said it, I think it's Scott, had a question that I am not really well versed in, but it's something that's much more in your wheelhouse, working with a light meter and how that translates to working with these pocket cameras. Like, how can we set exposure using a light meter? Let's talk about that.
Sure. And I'll try to do my best to not mess anything up, but I am talking off the dome here. So if I mess something up, correct me in the comments, or Todd, you can jump out and tell me I'm wrong with stuff. But the thing that I love, I bring my light meter with me everywhere. It's sitting on the back shelf right now, or I'd go grab it. It is, so you have 2 different versions. You have the incident light meter, or whatever's around you in the scene. You have spot metering, where you can actually point it at one single spot. And to me, I look at stops of light as just math, very simple math that I can do in my head. But it comes down to first really understanding and knowing the camera that you're dealing with, and if it likes overexposure or underexposure. The next thing that I do is I put in my mind exactly what I cannot change. A sports psychologist had told me when I was in sports, control the controllables, which just to me dictates to, like, whatever is locked in that I cannot control, that I cannot shape or change, let's lock that down first. And then I can go in and adjust whatever I need to adjust after I've kind of made all of those decisions that can't change. So, when I look at a pocket camera, the biggest difference between that and a interchangeable lens camera, a mirrorless camera, something like that, is generally a fixed aperture versus a variable aperture that you can change. And that allows you, a variable aperture, I'm not going to touch my shutter speed because I want a specific type of motion blur in my scene, right? And a lot of times we'll want to go 180 degree rule. The cinematic rule is what I had, everybody says on YouTube, which just means you're mimicking what the human eye can see. And because film has always been 24 frames a second, the shutter has always closed and opened at 1/48th of a second, half of however many frames you're shooting. And so that generally replicates what the human eye can see. So that's the whole idea behind the 180 rule and shooting at 1/48th of a second. So if you want to keep that and you don't want to go up crazy, because then you have no motion blur, and you don't want to go down to like 12, because then it's just
stutter.
Really, it's just really blurry, right? So that's something that we are locked into. We can't really shape or control that. The ISO on the pocket cameras, to me, is your best way of kind of finagling what you need, because they don't really have base ISOs in the same. They do, but they don't. I mean, if they really had dual gain ISOs, we'd hear about it. It'd be part of their marketing. But for the most part, I think most of them are set kind of best at 100. When you start going up, because they're all small sensors, you get noisy really fast. But to me, that's the first thing that I would want to try and keep as low as possible. After that, if I'm taking an ambient reading of a 5.6 with 100 ISO, I'm sorry, we're getting really nerdy now. This is just going back into my video. But an ambient reading, if I hit my light meter, take an ambient reading, it's reading at a 5.6, my ISO is already down at 100, and my fixed aperture on my Pocket 3 is a 1.8. I cannot close that aperture down anymore to adjust my light. Then I know because I've already done, and this was another video that I had put out, which is do a camera test with your camera and your sensor, 5 or 6, exactly what CineD did, or what Gerald Undone has done as well, which is set up your camera and your lights and then overexpose it, 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stop, 4 stop, and then underexpose it, 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stop, 4 stop. That way you know what that sensor does, and you can look at it in your editor and you can say, I like 2 stops over or 2 stops under. You did this anecdotally too with the Luna when you were testing it out, to know, okay, well, when I overexpose it this much, it looks really bad, or I can't get it back. I know for my Pocket 3, 1 stop overexposure is okay. Anything over 1 stop overexposure, trying to bring that down, there's no more detail. It burns out the detail very fast. So I know that in this particular situation, if my ambient light meter is reading at a 5.6, I know I have a 5.6 to a 4, which is 1 stop, a 4 to a 2.8, which is another stop, and a 2.8 to a 2 to get me roughly back to that 1.8 aperture with all my other things already kind of fixed where they are. So it's 3 stops, which is an ND8, 2, 4, 8. Your NDs always double from 0, 0, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. So I know I need an ND8 on the front of that camera to basically keep my exposure safe, and I can keep my shutter speed at 1/48, then I can keep my ISO at 100. That's kind of the baseline of how I go about thinking about it. And then if I'm in a totally controlled, the other version of this video that I did is if I'm in a totally controlled studio, basically, when I was lighting this studio, I had a couple of things I know I needed. And I wanted a 4:1 contrast ratio. So I wanted 2 stops over here and 2 stops under here on my fill. And so I knew if I was going at a 4 on my lens, that this would be at a 5.6 and this would be at a 2. That would give me the correct contrast ratio. It's all just stops of light that I'm playing with in my head. But if I can make those creative decisions before I touch turn the camera on, I know what the light has to shape like and look like. And so then I just take my meter around, and I'm generally where the talent should be standing, or where I want my perfect light situation. And I'm taking a reading and I'm going, okay, this is at a 5. So I knew I needed to turn that up a little bit to get to the 5.6. And then this was at a 2.8. So I knew I needed to turn my fill side down to get to a 2. It's all math, but if I can get those things set up with a light meter before I ever touch my camera, how much less do I have to worry about what the camera, I don't have to worry about any of that. That was already a creative decision before I ever turned the camera on. It's a shorter version of my video, but basically kind of
Yeah.
explaining how I go about light meters.
All right. And I'm going to put a link to your video below this in the description. So if people really want to dive in with Colton's, like the real math, please watch that video, because that's way more than I'm going to do. And people are going to shame me, and you can shame me all you want as not a real filmmaker. Look, I make my living doing it. I have for a long time. Here's how I'm handling this on the Luna. This is going to be the more simplified version. I don't have a light meter. I'm thrilled that they now have the color overlay, right? And I do everything visually with the screen. So I get in there and it's the same thing. I have set mine to 0.3 overexposed pretty much all the time. Sometimes 0.7 if I'm in a darker environment, but almost all the time it's 0.3. That's my starting point. And actually, interestingly enough, the ISO I set to 100 to 800, as 800 is max. So I'll let it float automatically within that range, which has been working for me. I haven't noticed a lot of noise in any of my things, even when I've shot in fairly dark environments. So that's been working. And then I do like you. I have a variable ND that I love. It's such a neat thing, and I'm not sure how much strain all of us are putting on our gimbals these days, adjusting these. But it's such a cool. This was from Freewell, and it's just each side has its own little dial, and it's got 5 stops on it. And so, I get in there and I just start tweaking it, and I'm like, okay, everything looks properly exposed. I'm just using my eye on the screen, because the beauty of being able to now shoot in 10-bit log, if I get close, I can dial it in and post. To me, I've gotten to where it's almost like shooting raw, where as long as I get the image when I'm doing photography, where it's like, boy, that looks pretty good on the screen, I know when I get to my computer, I'm not going to have to do a lot of work. And that's sort of the same logic I've been using, the much more simple man approach than Colton's, because Colton's doing it right. It's film school certified proper the way he's handling it. And I'm just sort of like run and gunning it, and it's all visual and having certain parameters that are always sort of my settings. And maybe I should do just a video of that. These are the settings I use as my baseline pretty much for everything. And I adjust everything else pretty much with ND filters. Like, that's really my control meter, because I admitted a week or two ago, like, I've been using the automatics because it's really been working well. The auto white balance has been a dream, and it's not like it used to be on the mirrorless cameras. Remember you would jump and you'd be like, oh, it looks awful. It has this nice gradual, oh, I'm just in a different color. You can go from indoors to outdoors, and it kind of just, it always looks proper, which is the wildest. The tech they're putting in these is what we've been talking about. Like these cameras are like magical now, and I almost hate that it's so democratized. But at the same time, I say this all the time, same theory applies in my opinion. Paintbrushes have been available for centuries. Only so many people are artists. Like, you still have to do the right things in the story and in the composition. Just because the camera makes it easier to get there doesn't suddenly make everybody a cinematographer. And look at your mom's cell phone videos and you'll see what I'm talking about. So
exactly,
just because it's easier doesn't make it that everybody can do it, I guess is what I mean to say.
Well, so, two things to your point also. One, I had to learn it that way because I think anybody here that has shot on, 16 millimeter film or 35 millimeter photo film, like, you're paying twice for your photography or your film. When I was in film school shooting on 16 millimeter, you pay a bunch of money as a broke college student to get 16 millimeter film, rolls of it. Then you go out and shoot your crappy student film. Then you have to pay a second time to get it all developed. And all of that before you really know what the pictures looked like that you shot. You don't have a chance to go, oh, this is all completely underexposed or completely blown out. So that's, I had to understand a light meter and my relationship with light onto a sensor out of being a broke college student trying to shoot on 16 millimeter film, I'm interested because I do think the digital sensors are so good that do you really need that? And where I say I love my light meter, it goes with me on every set I do. It is a controlled environment thing. I'm the second point I was going to say to you is I don't shame you for using auto. That's pretty much all I'll shoot with my Pocket 3 because I tried to do it right a couple of times, and all it takes is a little shifting into that bright side, and then my whole picture was washed out. So I would rather have, because at the end of the day, we're also in a non-controlled environment. If you're doing a vlog, which for me, I was doing a vlog, kind of a teaching vlog where I was walking around and talking about starting a podcast. And the issue with that was I'm thinking about what I want to talk about, what I want to say, how to walk in a straight line and not fall on my face, how to keep my shot composed. I'm not necessarily thinking about my exposure all the time. So an auto mode that is well metered within the image, which is what you're talking about, it kind of knows how to shift from dark to light. It works really well, and know what you're using your tool for. Like, it would almost feels like it would be silly to take my spot meter out with a pocket camera unless I was in a fully controlled environment and I really wanted to get my ratios dialed in a really proper way. I still think it's a good practice to have, but I think a lot of times you're using those in a more run and gun situation. And to me, the better exercise than learning how to use a light meter really well is learn how to test your camera sensor before you go out and use it professionally. Even before you go out and use it recreationally, like you did kind of anecdotally just on your own, shoot stuff intentionally at, if you're even using auto, go +2 EV, +4 EV. Let it do the math for you so you don't have to necessarily learn all of that stuff right away. But do that test, bring it back into your editor before you go out again, and make a taste decision. Oh, I really like this. Oh, I can, like you said, I can edit this. I can bring this down. I can work with this. Or with my Pocket 3, I got done with that vlog and came back and went, oh, this is all completely unusable because it was overexposed. I metered it for kind of a shadier spot, and then the sun came out. My whole half of my face is gone half the time. So, auto works really well sometimes.
And in Scott's defense, I think Scott comes from your world. Like, and Scott, if I'm wrong, if I'm making assumptions, please comment below and let me know. But I get the sense that you have
Todd he sucks. Sorry, never mind. Don't do that.
But I get the sense that you've been doing this for a while, and that's why you're thinking down that path. I just think we're in a new paradigm, like what Colton said, because we had film when I was a little kid, and we were shooting Super 8 around the house. That was it. When I actually started doing this as work, I started on tape, which was the similar version to digital now, memory, because you could see a lot in camera. You knew what you were getting when you started shooting, and you could, unlike what you were saying, I have no idea what's happening until I see the film back. You've got a real good sense of what the viewfinder, that's going to be my image or pretty close to it. So that's why I guess I never really even dealt with the light meter, because it was always sort of I've been in the digital world since I've been doing this professionally. So thank you for the question though, Scott. And hopefully this was beneficial to more than just you, but if not, I'm glad you were satisfied. I hope.
My question at the end of that video, which it was a fairly long video, it's 13 minutes. We've spent already 15 minutes already talking about it here. So we've doubled my video already. My question has been, what tools are you using for exposure in especially something like a pocket camera? My concern on the pocket cameras, because it's more of a consumer product and not a professional product, although the 4P is getting close, but you don't have zebras, you don't have a histogram in a way to, how do you know that your shot is peaking? And that's where a light meter does make some sense, is you can kind of get to know that before you point it at something. But that's just on both of my kind of professional cameras, either the ZR or the FX3, or if I'm shooting on an FX6 or anything, we're renting for a project, you have ways of monitoring that. And so my interest, not being a huge pocket shooter, is how are you kind of navigating that? The dynamic range looks really great, but if you point it at something that is very bright, you will end up peaking. And how do you know you're there or not? Or do you, that was my question kind of on that one.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we'll hear some answers.
Yeah.
So next thing is just a sad bit of news, which kind of goes back to the why I really don't like focus by wire and lenses that have USB adapters. My Viltrox, my brand new Viltrox 15 millimeter that I love, I baby it. It lives inside a Pelican case. I used it a few times for a job. It's been in a case now for about 2 months. I broke it out yesterday, and it just, I couldn't open the aperture. I had no image. I couldn't change the f-stop. I couldn't do anything on it. And I'm like, what just happened? How did this die? So then I did the research, went online. Okay, I'll just update the firmware. Got the app that I had to bypass the malware check on my Mac for. So don't love that, because I know this is coming from a Chinese company. Had to bypass the malware check, put it in, and it said, yep, you have the latest version. It updated it, put it back on my camera. This time when I turned on my camera, it just started going. I was like, what's that sound now? I took it off, put it back on. Same problem. It said, okay, take out the battery, let the cache or whatever refresh inside the camera. Same, back to aperture's completely closed down. Can't change anything. And I'm like, it's bricked. And this would never happen with like a mechanical lens, right? Like it would this wouldn't happen. And now I'm like, I'm sitting here like, how am I going to get customer service? Like it's a whole thing for a $200 lens, or do I just take the loss and look at a different brand for my next lens? Have you ever experienced this and had a solution for that?
No, the only thing I was going to say is, what does customer service say to do about it? Because I've had similar type of things in dealing with adapters. You're not adapting it, right?
No,
it's just
an
straight
E-mount
to
lens.
E-mount.
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing is the older, I say older, 2 years, Viltrox lenses, the electronics in there, you might have just had a bad lens. But I don't know. It sounds like what I'll do every once in a while, because I have a Viltrox adapter for my ZR to E-mount. Works really well. The autofocus works great. I don't have a lot of problems with it. Every once in a while, it'll just stop focusing. And I have to either turn the camera off, turn it back on, just to get the connections to work again, because it's not a native connection. Right. Sometimes I have to take the E-mount, the lens off, put it back on, then it'll work. So it's a little finicky. I've always had some issues with adapters like that. I've not heard of it natively, other than there is a reason why a 12 millimeter G Master is $2,500 and Viltrox is selling it for $200. There are some quality of life improvements when you step up that way. As much as I think Sony really takes advantage of some of their pricing, there are those benefits where you went with a budget lens, and it's still, I mean, to me, the bare minimum of things should last. The lens should turn on a year. Yeah. So that's where I would put it back on customer service for you, Todd. In episode 3, you need to come back with
we'll see
what you're dealing with customer service was
like. I don't know how well it's going to go. We'll see how that. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do next. I feel like I might be. This is lesson learned, and maybe spend more money, Todd.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But 200. I mean, let's be real. 200 to a lot of people, to most everybody, is still a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't have, like, I'm not wealthy. So $200 is pinchy, but it's also one of those, like, because now what I have to do for customer service is I have to take a video of it and I have to send them a sample of what's happening. And it's like, this is work. Now you're asking me to do stuff that takes up my time. And I would rather just send you it. You look at it and figure out what's wrong with it. This is my favorite quote from Bart Simpson. When he was complaining, the dentist told him all the things he had to do when he went to the dentist's office. And he said, so you're telling me you want me to do your job at home for free? And so that's how I feel about this response right now. Like, I have to do a bunch of work so you could tell me how you're going to fix it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's how it works. But you also like making videos for YouTube. Just treat it like a YouTube video. And instead of hitting upload, just hit send on the email. And then you know what? In terms of analytics and RPMs, if you get that $200 lens fixed, that's a pretty solid RPM on YouTube.
No, you know what? I'll vlog the whole thing. It will become an episode. You're welcome. You can come on the journey with me to get this lens fixed. Yes. This is now annotated. It's in the book. All right. Final topic that I want to talk about today. And I think I don't know if you're as excited as I am, because, I love a budget since we're coming off this $200 lens conversation. Yep. But I'm excited about this new Sony SEL 100-400. I think there's a lot of interesting application for this. You're smiling, but I'm a guy on the APS-C world going, a 640 millimeter lens would be awesome for 800.
Yeah, throw a teleconverter on that. You're at
$850. Come on, let's go.
Yep. I love it. I think it's a great budget zoom lens. The range is fantastic. My issue with these is only like shooting a lot of sports and a lot of indoor sports. I have the 70-200 f4 because I was trying to save some money when I was getting into Sony. Didn't want to spend the, $2,800 for the G Master 2.8. And I'm mad at myself still. I end up renting the 70-200 or the 300 or the 400 2.8 more than I take out my f4. So my only complaint for myself on these budget, kind of the lower end G lens options here on the super zooms, is 5.6 to an 8. What that's going to be awesome for, my thought is, if you're a wildlife photographer, if you're a bird watcher, we covered the RX10 Mark 5 or Mark 6, whatever, the new weird Sony compact.
Oh yeah.
They announced a couple of weeks ago, and everybody on our live stream was like, yeah, this is for bird watchers or, wildlife enthusiasts. I think absolutely, totally. So for this lens, if you're not in a dire need for light and you're cool with an f8, by the time you get to 400, you think not necessarily you going to APS-C, but if you throw a teleconverter on there, now you're at a full nother stop of light down from that. So you're at f11. That's a dark image. So you better be outside for that. Those are the only issues with this super zoom. I would have loved to see something more, but it's a Sony lens. So the problem is, if you go to an f4, that thing's going to be very heavy and probably twice the price. So this is a great budget option if you're a bird watcher, I think.
The only application for me for this lens would be outdoors, obviously. So that takes care of that. I love that it has optical image stabilization built in. No, it's lightweight. They said it's 654 grams.
Yeah. That's why you keep it at a 5.6 to f8. That's why, because if you tried to make this at an f4, it'd be 3 or 2 pounds. And if you tried to make this anything lower than that, if you pull up what the 2.8 Sony G Master 400 millimeter looks like, it's a beast. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of my favorite lenses, but it is a tank of a lens to shoot with. And you're only shooting that really on a monopod if you're going to shoot with it all day. So this is a great walk around lens if you're outside. I think it's awesome. It's kind of the super zoom for the masses, I think is what they were calling it, which is it's priced well for a Sony lens. It'll work. I love Sony's OSS system. You pair that with IBIS.
Yeah.
And when you can handhold a 400 millimeter lens, which is pretty impressive.
The other thing I thought was exciting was this. I mean, the potential for using it as a macro tool as well, because it said the minimum focus distance is 0.86 meters at the tele, which is, 2.5 feet at 400. You're going to get some pretty interesting imagery, I think, which would be kind of cool. Now, you're right. You're going to need a lot of light. But if you're doing outdoor floral stuff, insects, that is that I just think this could be a lot of fun. Plus, they've made it dust and moisture resistant. Like there's a lot going on for an affordable lens. There's a lot of nice features. They're not just throwing a cheap lens out, even though it's at $849, it's not cheap. But for what it's doing, I feel like it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I agree. I think the closest, I'd have to look, but I think the closest you'd come outside of that, I thought Sigma did. It's the front page of B&H right now too. If you wanted to go pick one up, let me just look at that range, 100 to 400. Yeah, and, if you want the 100 as an example, to 400
it's funny because I just put up a video where I was testing this teleconverter for the iPhone, and it did a wonderful job. But the one thing I was kind of hoping is that because it was like a 270 millimeter equivalent, I think is what you said, maybe at 9x, macro was just out of the picture because you had to be 12 feet back to get focus. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Like I thought it did other stuff really good. I don't know if you watched the video, but some of the stuff I was like, these images are really quite usable, and dealt with the detail very nicely. So, but this, I'm like, whoa, that is awesome. 2.5 feet and 400. That's a lot.
Now, here's the only thing that will make it. You tell me, because you're excited about this, maybe more so than I am, and I want to try and find where this looks almost more usable for more scenarios to me. Sigma has a 100 to 400 f5 to 6.3.
Ooh.
So you save almost a stop on the 400 side. You save a third of a stop on the 100 side, and it is priced at $1,049.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive, but only by like $200. So is it, the next question I would have here, and I'll try and pull it up while we're talking, is what did you say the weight was? Oh no.
No, was it? Hold on. It's 640, 654.
654 grams. Was it 654 grams?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's 1,135 grams. It's almost twice.
Almost twice as
heavy. Mm-hmm. But you do get macro. Minimum focus distance is longer on the Sigma, 3.6 feet, 1.1 meters. So on the Sony one, you'll be able to get closer. It weighs less. You get a little bit more light on the Sigma.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's the only hard part for me is knowing it only gets to be an outdoor lens, because indoor you're just going to lose it. But it's a great add to the Sony system.
I guess what would be your use case for an indoor? Would you be doing like an event?
Anytime. Well, it's anytime you're doing,
because otherwise it's just too close.
400. I really like 400, especially if you're in the stanchions or in the kind of outfield kind of places where they'll put media on indoor, say a basketball, if you're, off sides of the court. 400 will get you across the court to a full body. So those type of things are really nice. I like a 400 My favorite lens that Sony's done right now is the 300, because I feel like the 300 is a slightly more usable, versatile than the 400, which it gets a little tight sometimes for indoor shooting. But either one, I like. Those are, to me, those are the standout sports shots that are top on your portfolio, are really tight in close action shots of somebody. And you generally can't get that with a 200. So I'd like that 400 range for it. And if you're doing anything indoors in an arena, in a stadium, you just, an F8 would be tough to, your ISO is going to be through the roof. Think about that. That's 5 stops over on a 2.8. So you're talking about, instead of a ISO of 200, you're talking about an ISO of 21,600.
Yeah, it would be problematic in that environment. Yeah, that's a good point. Because I was like, I don't do that. So I was like, there's no application for me where I'd be indoors. Like, this would only be for outdoor fun. But that would be, I could see that being a problem.
That's now, just where it starts to, where it starts to go, I should have bought the more expensive one. But for, you're also dealing with 3x the weight.
What was the Sigma again, though? What was the price on that? I forget what you said.
1,000. It is 1,050.
Oh, okay. So it's not even, okay.
It's like 200. Maybe it's $200 more,
$200
give or take.
More.
You're playing in the same ballpark.
But it was a 6.3 at the end. I'm sorry.
5, an F5 to a 6.3. They picked 6.3. Weird. Neither of those are whole stops, which is weird. Yeah. But that's what I found on B&H.
That weird Viltrox lens I have, which is, I think, primarily a photography lens, is a 1.7, which when I bought it, I was like, boy, this is an odd f-stop. Like,
yeah, they pick weird numbers sometimes. But, if it works, it works.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, it doesn't. So, for the record.
Yeah, yours doesn't. Currently, yours doesn't.
Everybody was talking about what a great lens it was. Yeah, until the next live stream. We'll see what happens. So, well, thanks, Colton, for joining me, and enjoy this conversation. Man, I love having these conversations. Right now, my wife is bugging me. I need to get to the grocery store.
Get to work.
Stop yapping. We need cat food. I'm like, okay. So I gotta go.
Yeah,
it was nice talking with you, and thank you all for joining us and hanging out. And I know this was more of a rambling one, but I don't know. You guys seem to enjoy Colton and I just talking, and we've done it again. So,
yep.
Thanks.
We sure have.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.